Kidwell kids, how are ya? This is Mr. Mark. Hope you're having a good day, good Sunday. Hey, today we're continuing and wrapping up our talks about the Ten Commandments, the rules that God gave to us about how to live together peacefully, and these are the rules that He gave so that we can have a great life. Okay, and a great community, not just yourself, but all of us together, living together. And so the 10th one today is a little bit different than some of the others, because some of the others talked about things to do or not do, and this one's going to talk about inside your head and inside your heart. Okay, and so let me read it to you. The 10th commandment says, do not desire another man's house. Do not desire his wife, his slaves, his cattle, his donkey, or anything else that he owns. Okay? So it's saying don't desire, get all worked up, desiring things that you don't have, that other people do have. And if you do that, it kind of wrecks your life, and it wrecks your relationship with your neighbor, it wrecks your community, and it really wrecks your inside. Okay? So one of the words that's sometimes used instead of desire is it says, thou shalt not covet. Okay, so covet is just a funny word that we don't use anymore, but it just means to really want something and just to get like, to lose all of your own sense of peace and happiness until you could have that thing. Oh, I want that thing. So there's a couple ways that I think that enters into our life. One of the things is from advertising. So advertising is when they make like a commercial on TV. Maybe you're watching a show, and then this commercial comes up and it's got all these cool toys, and you go, oh man, I wish I had that toy. Why don't I ever have a cool toy like that? Okay, so advertisers get paid a lot of money to make you think that you don't have what you need, and you should have some other stuff. So sometimes it'll be something like, oh look, everyone else is going to have this cool new thing, and unless you have it, you won't be cool. Well, that's a lie. Having things doesn't make you cooler, but they are trying to trick you into begging your mom and dad to buy something for you. Or for you to earn your money and spend it yourself. And sometimes they'll say things like this. This is new and improved, so don't miss out. Get this thing now. Okay? And then it makes you feel like what you have isn't any good. So I used to take do a lot of photography, taking pictures and stuff, and I signed up. I took a photography magazine, but on every other page in the magazine, it had some helpful things to help you take better pictures, but mostly it was just like, oh, you need to buy this. You don't have the good camera gear. Okay, and so I finally said, no, I'm not taking this magazine anymore. It just made me feel bad about what I had. It was like, mine isn't good enough, and that's wrong. So I'll tell you another little story. So I had a guitar made by a company named Taylor. It was a nice guitar, but it had some problems, and I sent it to the manufacturer, the Taylor, to their factory, and they did some work on it. Well, they sent it back to me, and that was great. The guitar was great. But then they signed me up for their magazine, and this one's called Wood and Steel. And inside and outside this magazine, all the way through it, is all their new cool guitars, and they got these cool looking people that are like awesome looking. And so kind of part of the message is, don't you want to buy a new Taylor guitar? And I'm like, you know, actually I'm pretty good. I'm very happy with the guitar I have. And so another example, and you might, your mom and dad might have something like this. So this is a magazine called Magnolia. And this was from watching a TV show about how to fix up your house and stuff. Well, and then you get a magazine, and it's full of all these things that say, don't you want to buy this? Don't you want to buy this? You shouldn't be satisfied with your life. buy something else. Okay, so that's one way you can get your head all messed up and filled up with, I need more stuff, is by listening to advertising. Okay, another way that we get into this is a little sneakier maybe sometimes, and it's just looking at talking to your friends, and they come by and they've got some cool new shoes on, and you go, those are the coolest shoes ever. I wish I had cool shoes like that. And then all of a sudden your shoes that you had weren't as good after you saw your friend's new shoes. And so that's a way that this covetousness or this desiring what you don't have can sneak in. A moment before you saw your friend, you were like, fine, my shoes are great. Then as soon as you see your friend's new shoes, then you're like, my shoes stink. I wish I had better shoes. Or maybe it's a bike, or maybe it's a baseball mitt, or a dress, or a computer game that you enjoyed, or something like that. So it's real easy for this to sneak into our lives, to say, I don't have enough. I wish my stuff was better. I want to tell you one quick story, and maybe you'll get this. I kind of think cars are cool, and I notice cars a lot. I drive old cars. I don't have my cars from the last century, from 1999. Were you even born yet? No. And that's how old my car. But I still notice cars. I like cars. But one day I was at a coffee shop, and I watched a guy drive up in a beautiful, it was a BMW Z3 convertible. So it's like so shiny, so beautiful. Just two people can ride in it and stuff. But it was a really, really cool car. Okay? And he drove up and he made sure he parked it so he could look at it. And then he went and got a seat outside in the coffee shop so he could just be staring at his car. Oh, I have the most beautiful car, and kind of thing. So he's staring at his beautiful new car, and he gets his cup of coffee, and he has a magazine, and he's talking with his friend, and he opens this magazine up, and he goes, oh, look at this boat. Oh, I would love to have this boat. Okay, so see what I'm trying to say? This guy has the most beautiful, one of the best cars on the road. It was so fantastic. But then all he wanted to do is buy something else. So there's no end to wanting more stuff. So instead, you have to learn to be grateful for what you have. Jesus said it like this in Luke chapter 12. He said, watch out. Guard yourself from every kind of greed, because your true life is not made up of things that you own, no matter how rich you may be. So there's the truth that Jesus is telling us, is happiness, joy, does not come from owning things. Now, let me just say, it's still fine to look around and notice things and work toward getting things that you want and stuff like that. But there's a real difference. That's what Jesus is saying. Watch out. Guard yourself from that taking over your life, so that all you want is more, bigger, better, everything. And a lot of people spend a lot of time being consumed by greed, and it destroys their life. What you can do instead is this. Try to develop an attitude of gratitude. Kind of rhymes, right? So say it with me. Attitude of gratitude. Attitude of gratitude. So an attitude is a mindset, and to think about how grateful you are for the things that you have, and for the life that you have. And that way you're not looking around like, oh, look, my neighbor's got that, and this neighbor's got that, and my friend's got that. No, look at what you have and say, thank you. Thank you to God. Thank you to your parents for the things that they've given you, your grandparents maybe, whatever. Be grateful, truly grateful inside. And it heals that need to have everything better, because you'll realize what you've got is a pretty good deal. So I am grateful for the life I have, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to talk with you about this thing, because it's really important, and it's one of the ways where our society, our community has gotten kind of insane. We always want a better phone, or a better this, or a better that. and it robs us of happiness and joy. So be grateful for what you have. Say, thank you, God. I really do have it pretty good. Okay. Hey, I hope that you have a great week, and look forward to seeing you in person as soon as we can do that. Okay. Take care. Love you guys. Bye. All right. So we're talking about your heart. We're talking about joy, having joy in your heart, and we're talking about greed and how it robs the joy from your heart, and thankfulness and how it can restore that joy. And so I'm making a little demonstration for you. So let's try this out. All right. Here we go. Here is your heart, and in your heart is where your joy resides. Joy is that it's not just happiness, which is temporary. It's really contentment. It's like life is good, and you have joy from a lot of reasons. All right. So we talked about greed, and here's greed. This is greed down here, and it's a hot poking thing. So greed comes into your life when you start looking around at what other people have, and you think, I wish I had that. Or advertisers come in and they're showing you all this stuff. It makes you think that your stuff isn't good enough, right? And then here's thankfulness, beauty of thankfulness. All right, so here's what happened. Let's do that thing about the shoes. So you got your shoes on, you like your shoes, they're comfortable, you can run fast, and but you come and you see your friends have got even some newer, cooler shoes. So what happens is the greed comes into your joy, and it attacks it. Oh, you see it? It's catching it on fire. Greed destroys. You see the smoke, man? Oh. Greed comes along and destroys all the joy that you had. Just burns it to a crisp. All right? So, in order to keep greed from taking away our joy, we've got to remember thankfulness. Thankfulness puts out the fire, right, of greed. Puts out that fire. And so then thankfulness can restore the joy back to your heart. And now you have joy again. So thankfulness every day. Thank God for all the things He's given us. Okay?